everybody, I'm Lee Hazel of VultureHound magazine, and this is your weekly bait and click, where we answer the questions that will get you clicking this week. Can YouTubers be trusted? Yes, in my inaugural entry into my second ever YouTube series, it would have been the first if WWE hadn't upped its pay-per-view quota in the last couple of months, is to tell you that the words coming out of my mouth and the mouths of my contemporaries have all been made up from the slippery oil scraped off the backs of deceptive serpents. Or not. It's complicated. You see, some are as honest and pure and noble as a Jimmy Stewart character in a Frank Capra film. Their views, their topics, their content, it's all created with entertainment, education, and honest entertainment in mind. But a lot of them have far less noble intentions. Some of them, possibly even the majority, are just after as much of your time as they can nab, and they'll do anything to get it. One of the ways in which they do this? Clickbait. You see, we here at VultureHound are trying to use the loaded term clickbait to get you interested in the channel. We're trying to get you to like, subscribe, and share it amongst your friends, co-workers, and family. Just keep it away from your Uncle Rusty. These comment sections are bad enough without him using it as a platform to promote his radical immigration policy. But whenever we pose a clickbaity question, we try to answer this question as openly and as honestly as we can, and crucially, spending our entire video answering that one question. Other channels that are great for this include Adam from College Humor and the wonderful Extra Credits. And seriously, if you aren't subscribed to Extra Credits, do it now. They are the best channel in this intellectual wasteland. But some channels make a point of only answering the title's question once you've watched a load of less interesting shit you never wanted to hear about. So there you are, clicking on a link, waiting 15 minutes for an answer to a question they spend 30 seconds on. By now, I know what you're thinking. It's all free, what does it matter? Well, I'm telling you that as a guy knocking 30, God, it's not even knocking 30 at this point, it's more like banging the door down. Your time is precious. Your time to spend with friends, loved ones, to be productive and responsible is limited, and wasting that time is becoming more and more of a problem. In a world where smartphones have us hooked up to social media like those battery pods had Neo hooked up to the Matrix, I would be far readier to spend 50 quid on 2 minutes worth of quality than to see a shit 2-hour thing for free. You trust these YouTubers with your time and sometimes your money because you think they are just like you. They're some dude or dudette chilling in their bedroom and they've just turned on their MacBook camera to let you know their daily thoughts. By now though, you know that YouTubing for a lot of these guys has become their job and they need their ad revenue to pay their bills. But the images that they present to you and the way that they talk about themselves and their lives are designed to get you to stop thinking about them in that way. They film most of their stuff in their studios or offices, which they design to look more like the rooms of a normal house. And granted, sometimes their studios or offices are their normal houses, and this could be their kitchen, their living room, but especially their bedrooms. Notice how most of these guys decorate their sets to make it look like these 25-year-old content creators haven't changed their rooms since they were 15 years old? That's because they are the target demographic. Young enough not to know how to spend their time, just about old enough to be given their own electronic devices. Bringing you into their bedrooms will make you trust them more, make you feel more like a friend to them or a confidant. You are not. The intimacy they create is an illusion. They want to build that personal relationship with you so that you keep coming back week after week. Some using some quite nasty psychological trickery to get you borderline addicted to them. Something else that helps get them over is the fact that they aren't the mainstream media. Over time people, especially young people, have developed a distrust towards mainstream media outlets. They're either using their influence to push their own agendas, or they are completely out of touch with young people and their culture. But YouTubers get you. They understand exactly what you want to watch and how you want to see it because they're just guys sitting in their pajamas, eating bootios, playing video games, just like you. Only they're not though, are they? I mean, some of these guys have revenues that run into the millions. PewDiePie is worth 12 of them. And by now, Smosh is a multi-million-dollar cross-media corporation that earned $8.5 million on YouTube alone last year. And that doesn't even take into account the merchandise sales, the ad revenue, or their own personal website and their iPhone app. Lindsay Sterling sold 100,000 albums and got a sellout tour, all through her YouTube channel. So I've got to ask you, does any of that sound like you? And if it does, can I have some money for Meet My Children are anemic? If you still think YouTubers are just using their laptops and phones to film, do yourself a favour. Look up Comic Girl 19's Patreon page and look at her rig. That's a closer approximation to what most people are running with. Then we get back into the agenda thing. YouTubers often aren't the independently minded free thinkers that we'd all like to believe they are. A lot of them latch onto an agenda that is formed in the toxicity of forums and comments threads and been spread about on social media like a plague upon common sense. Then they will either use this agenda to make themselves more popular, whether they believe it or not, or they will use this popular agenda to gain support for their own agendas. Some of them could be driving you to think about a political situation in a certain way, or telling telling you how to spend your money or use your own social media platforms to help warp public opinion in their favour. For some of these guys, YouTube has become a battlefield where ideologies are fought for and the winning side gets all the views and all the money associated with them. Even videos on seemingly harmless stuff like the console wars or Marvel vs DC can become propaganda, frothing up the fanboy rage until their viewers start supporting anti-consumer practices that only harm themselves. Also, YouTubers like to present themselves like a regular YouTube watcher. They'd like you to think that they too just sit and lay in bed all day like a hippo dying of lethargy, putting off recording until they've binge-watched all 7 series of The Unstoppable Blight of Kitty Unbearable or whatever the new thing is on Netflix and eating their arse weight in ice cream. Nope, wrong again. On his podcast, YouTuber Jim Sterling, never a man to shy away from brutal honesty, recently claimed he works a 13-hour day. That's more like it. Writing, editing, producing, promoting, publicising and filming is hard, lengthy work, and only driven individuals who have made several personal sacrifices succeed. These guys just don't go down to the pub and get drunk Thursdays to Sundays with their friends like everyone else does. They go on the road, they appear at conventions, most of their social time is appearing on their friends' channels and having their friends appear on theirs. Most of these guys spend most of their free time running their businesses. They've studied marketing, social media, public relations, finance. They've had professional photographers do shoots for them, hired graphic designers for their iconography, editors to help them with their workload. Their channels are rigorously scheduled, thoroughly managed and organised to the final letter. They have less kinks in them than Ned Flanders' pubic hair. These guys know more about productivity than an automated German beer chugging machine. Again, does this sound like a normal person to you? And now we've come all this way and we haven't even covered some of the genuinely dodgy stuff that some of these guys get up to either. Paid content, for example, is something that has only recently been the subject of legislation. YouTube itself does not give a flying fuck about whether or not these guys inform their audience about the fact that they have been paid to feature something in their video. All they care about is that they follow the guidelines for their particular jurisdiction. This is a statement from YouTube's own website updated October 3rd, 2016. This is written in the FAQ under the question, do I need to notify anyone else about any commercial relationship connected to my video? The answer states, you may need to. Different jurisdictions have various requirements for creators and brands involved in paid promotion. Where your content does include paid promotion, some jurisdictions and brand partners require you to inform viewers about any commercial relationship that might have influenced or contributed to your content, be that editorially or financially. It is your responsibility to check and comply with laws and regulations around paid promotion content that apply to you. So it's not YouTube enforcing transparency, it's the country or state that you are publishing from. Even third-party publishers have more say over whether or not the nature of their relationship with the content creator should be disclosed. This has led to some very shady dealings in the past. Today, the FTC says that if you have a video that is part of a promotion for a service or a product, the disclosure of that agreement should be in the video itself. This is only a relatively recent development though. For ages, YouTubers could get away with hiding their disclosure in the description, sometimes in a place referred to as underneath the fold. This means you have to click on a button in the description in order to see whether these opinions have been influenced by outside interference. You want to know how many people ever click to open up their description? Ask yourself this, how many times do I do it? Then there is the even worse case when the channel is promoting its own product without telling the viewer. Back in the summer, the video game Counter-Strike Global Offensive was the subject of a large betting scam. Known as skins betting, players would go to the websites that allowed them to place their rarest in-game items against the items of other players and bet them on a digital coin toss. Winner take all. These coin tosses would be the subject of betting amongst the website's community. Occasionally, one of the owners of these skin betting sites would take to YouTube to present their product, without telling anyone it was their product. Oh, and they would also rig the odds in their favour, misrepresenting their game as easier to win in order for more people to be incentivized to put their digital property at risk. They present themselves as normal gamers, just like you and I, to con you into buying their wares. This wasn't strictly illegal either. Because of the newness of these practices and many like them, these kinds of con jobs are hard to legislate and it's even harder to prove guilt, even when the culprits are filming themselves being guilty. This is why YouTube is so dangerous to impressionable minds. A lot of them are trying to get you invested in them by presenting themselves as you, as your friends. But in all too many cases, the relationship is purely symbiotic, and there isn't much the law can do to stop them from being exploitative, or to stop them from taking advantage of a vulnerable audience and profiting off of deceptive means. Sure, this is all the stuff that toy manufacturers, television networks, movie studios and game publishers have all been doing for decades. But do you trust them? I don't think you do, and the same should apply to YouTubers. And that goes the same for us. Watch us. Be entertained by us. Click like, share and subscribe for us. Just don't trust us. Phew, well we got through that one relatively unscathed. That was the weekly bait and click, and if you'd like to click some more, why not click on the links below that will take you to the VultureHound site and the VultureHound mag, where you can find all of our news, reviews and interviews. Oh, and turn off the lights and lock the door behind you. Thanks, and I'll see you all next week.